Hey everybody, Patrick O'Connor, Coldwell Banker. Today I'm going to do the first of a two-part video talking about the appraisal and the appraisal process. One question I get a lot from sellers is, why don't I get a copy of my appraisal report? Well, you can thank the housing crisis of 2007 and 2008 for that, and it's actually a good thing. So in 2010, Fannie Mae said, here are some guidelines, here's a law about how we're going to handle the appraisal process. This was done to protect the seller, the buyer, lenders, mortgage investors, and most importantly, the housing market. This was all developed to prevent what happened in 2007, 2008, because there was a lot of things going on that probably shouldn't have been going on, and a lot of that led to the issues we had. So when a lender orders an appraisal for the buyer, it goes through a third-party company. It's called AMC, Appraisal Management Company. So that appraiser, it goes out to appraisal land, an appraiser grabs that appraisal and logs that he's going to do it. He sees the timeline he needs to do it within and where it needs to go after it's done. So then that appraiser will reach out to the listing agent. They reach out to the listing agent because they have contact with the seller and can coordinate the appraisal. So typically the sellers are either gone and the appraiser accesses the MLS box to get into the house. Sometimes the sellers are there. But the one important thing is the agent and really the sellers can't talk to that appraiser about value. We can't even use that word because they have to look at the data, look at the home. They're trained individuals and they have to determine the value. Once that report's done, it gets sent back to the bank, the lender, for the buyer. Now, the seller, because it's paid for by the buyer, the law states that the lender can only, because of privacy laws, provide that appraisal to the buyer. The agents don't get to see it unless the unless the buyer says, yes, please give it to my agent. They don't get to see it. So none of us get to see it, especially not the seller, because of privacy laws and everything else we talked about. So there are some instances where you do, as a seller, get a copy of the appraisal, and they're not good. I always say to my sellers, look, if we don't hear back about the appraisal, no news is good news. Don't worry about it. The last thing we want is to hear back from somebody or from the lender saying, we've got a problem with the appraisal. So the problem will be either the appraiser says the market does not support the value, or you need to complete repairs. In those two situations, the lender would then send the appraisal report over to the listing agent, who would then show the sellers to so everybody understands what they need to do in order for the loan to be approved based on the appraisal. So never a good thing to see the appraisal report. I hope this gives you a little bit more clarity. I know this is something that comes up a lot when I'm talking with sellers. If you have any other questions about the process, I'd be happy to help. I'm also going to do another video talking to sellers about how you can best prepare your home for the appraisal process. Have a good day.